There's been a lot of news in the media lately surrounding e-cigarettes and vaping, and pretty much the summary is that the Trump administration wants to ban flavored e-cigarettes. So what does this vaping ban mean for Altria? Will Altria as a company be able to survive this if this ban does go through across the country? And most importantly, if you are an Altria shareholder right now, like myself, should you consider selling your stock? I'll be sharing my opinion and answering all these questions and more in today's video, so let's get started. And just a quick note, if you enjoy these individual stock analysis videos, you want to see more like these, drop a like. If we can get 300 likes on this video, I'll bring back the original deep dive analysis series that we had on the channel. So if you want that series to return, smash that like button and share this video with a friend. Alright, so let's start off with the bad here. So the biggest thing in the news lately is that Trump wants to ban flavored e-cigarette sales across the country, but the key word here is flavored, and that is very important to note. Back in November 2018, JUUL came out and actually stopped selling most of its flavored e-cigs in stores due to the rise of teens smoking. And recently, the CEO of JUUL came out and issued a statement essentially agreeing with Trump, saying that JUUL supports a federal reset of flavor restrictions and would comply with any guidelines the Food and Drug Administration issues. He knows that these flavored products are addictive, but the key thing that he says here is in his last comment, which reads, "Many popular fruit and candy flavored nicotine products are made by other companies." So that's something to keep in mind because JUUL isn't completely affected by this. There is a good portion that is affected if this ban goes through. But a lot of this hate and this kind of negativity around flavored products is not necessarily around JUUL's products. If the ban goes through, a lot of these smaller companies that are selling these flavor products to work with JUUL's actual e-cigarette are the ones that will get hit the hardest from this ban. And really it makes sense because all of these smaller companies that come out and release their flavored products don't have the capital and budget that Altria does, and as a result are not able to do as much R&D and testing for the safety and health risks that are out there for these brand new products. You can't come out here and tell me a company that's almost worth $100 billion will not take the precautions and kind of go through all the testing compared to a company that's worth just a couple $1,000,000. But unfortunately for Altria, who is invested in JUUL if you weren't aware, JUUL's name is really being thrown into any negative articles surrounding e-cigarettes, and that's a big contribution as to why the stock is down so much right now. JUUL itself is seeing a lot of success from selling the actual physical e-cigarette product, and from their standpoint, it was designed as a cigarette alternative. They do still sell flavors on their online store, and it will affect them, no doubt, like I said, if this ban does go through. But I don't think it'll be as drastic as people are expecting. And I have a feeling that the government may actually go and say, unless it's from a reputable brand and a reputable company like JUUL and Altria, other sales are banned. But either way, no matter what happens, I think JUUL will comply. They will continue to sell their actual physical e-cigarette, which doesn't seem to be the problem here. It's the flavored products. And if they're told to stop selling flavored products, they will 100% comply with that and cut those sales out. And yes, of course, that will affect their revenue. But remember, a lot of the revenue that these companies get is from the actual tobacco piece, not necessarily the flavored piece. So that's still going to be a very strong portion of Altria's and JUUL's business. And kind of going on this note here with the whole government ban is also the issue about age limits. So currently in most states, if you're 19, you're able to actually go and purchase these tobacco products, but they want to raise the legal limit to 21 across the country, which Altria is actually in support of. Many states are already on the list here that have either raised or plan to raise that limit to 21, regardless if it's implemented federally or not. Now, I do think that this could have an impact on their sales. However, the fact is that majority of smokers are age 25 or above, so it's not going to affect it as much as many people think. Raising the age limit to 21 does make sense in my opinion because this will keep it in line with alcohol. These kind of things go hand in hand typically. But let's be real, if someone under 21 wants to purchase these products, they will most likely get hold of it just like they do with alcohol. I think that this will be more of an image thing just to say, you know, the legal limit is 21, so we're not going to sell to minors that are younger than that. I just think it's kind of politics, but either way, if that does go through, Altria is in support of that. Now, the next big negative which we need to discuss is that cigarette sales across the US have been declining year over year. Here you can see it's been going down consistently year over year, but this may not be as negative as you think because Altria and other companies saw this coming from a mile away and have taken measures to combat this. And with this point, I kind of want to transition now to the positive side of Altria and a possible investment in Altria. So here you can see that revenue has actually been increasing year over year, and profit has as well, but you would think that because of declining sales, this should be going down. But like I said, Altria and other companies has seen this coming from a mile away, and they have been raising prices slowly year over year to combat this, and thus far this has been working quite well. In fact, in its latest earnings report, Altria reaffirmed its guidance for 2019 with an EPS growth of 4 to 7% year over year, despite all of these headwinds and negative press around the industry. And the best part is that this guidance doesn't even take into account the JUUL or Kronos investments, which in my opinion will no doubt be driving factors in the future. So clearly we can see here that even if JUUL's products are banned, if you have a worst case scenario, everything from JUUL is banned, Altria will still perform just fine because they aren't really including that investment in their numbers. And yet, no matter what this company does, the media is still against it and wants to portray it that this company is going bankrupt very soon. I beg to differ. And just to show how strong their financials are, Altria actually raised their dividend recently again this year, marking a milestone of 50 years of dividend growth. This means the stock will yield close to 7.5% after this increase, which is higher than the S&P 500 yearly return. Altria is a company that actually likes to pay out most of its profits to shareholders because it is a company that's targeted a lot by the government, and because of that, they don't want to have a huge cash pile which the government can kind of fine them for, and they'd have to pay that out in fines. They rather go out and pay their shareholders first and then use whatever capital they have left over to deal with fines and regulatory issues and all that stuff. It's a very smart business decision because it actually appears on the books that the company is not as well off as they really are. But if you're a shareholder of Altria, you know that that dividend that they pay out is extremely lucrative. It's actually pretty ironic because as a dividend growth investor, you most likely have some sin stocks in your portfolio, whether that's Philip Morris, Altria, or even BTI. And that's because these companies are actually some of the strongest dividend growth companies out there, consistently raising the dividend by pretty good margins year over year. And in my opinion, as the investments that Altria has made in JUUL and Kronos pays off over the coming years, this dividend will only just keep increasing. And also, just as an aside, I kind of want to briefly talk about the PE here of Altria. The current PE of the company sits at around a 13, but the forward PE is actually in the 9s. You can see it with the red line here where the stock's PE is currently at and where it has been historically, and I believe we're getting really good value in the stock right now. The last time we saw this kind of valuation in Altria was during the recession, but Altria is a much more stronger company now than it was back then, so I believe it deserves a higher valuation than what the market is giving it. Now, the last thing we need to discuss in this video about Altria is the potential merger between Philip Morris and Altria. They did confirm in late August that they are working with Philip Morris for an all-stock merger of equals. And just a few days ago, we saw that there was some news that the merger talks are going well, indicating that this actually has a higher chance of happening than many think. So what are my thoughts here on this merger? I think that it's a great move by both companies because it'll actually help with risk reduction and diversity across the world. Altria is US based, where Philip Morris is kind of worldwide minus the US. So a combination or a merger of these two companies would pretty much give them worldwide exposure, significantly reducing risk from the US even if these bans do go through. This merger would actually make Altria a much more safer investment, and I do think that if this merger does go through, which I have a feeling it will, that we're actually going to see a very strong bottom form in the stock, and that's when the reversal will begin in Altria, or at that point really a combined company between Altria and Philip Morris. I'm going to try to keep you guys updated on this merger as more news comes out, maybe when it's finalized, if you guys want to see that. So comment down below, let me know what kind of stuff you're interested in, because I want to create videos for you to make sure that you're well informed and you're able to get some value out of these videos. Guys, remember 300 likes and I'm going to bring back the deep dive analysis series. So get liking, get sharing, and of course if you're brand new here, hit that subscribe button down below because we'd love to have you as part of this community. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Don't forget to invest positively, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.